Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. It has been rightly said by Mr. Douglas MacArthur. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the equality of his actions and integrity of his intent. Hello, everyone. I am Chandan Palwar, a student of IIM Shillong. It is a moment of great privilege and honor for me to extend a hearty welcome to one of the great industry leaders in product management domain. Mr. Shubham, a product manager at Microsoft, he has devoted a number of years to Microsoft and his expertise experience in the product management domain and have successfully acquired prolific business expertise. Hi Shubham, how are you doing in these trying times?
Yeah, so I'm doing well, Chandan. Hope you're doing well as well. And you did pile a lot of praise on me just now. Hopefully, I can live up to it. But even if I can, then I would apologize to you and my viewers in advance. Yeah.
No. Okay, so Mr. Shivam, since you come from a corporate background and majority of our audience is also from the business management domain or the basically MBA students, so the ones who are watching you right now would really like to know more about you. Like, how was the journey been like? If you could introduce a bit to our lovely audience, it would be great fun.
Zarur. So it would be my pleasure also. So I would start by saying that I did my undergraduate from Delhi College of Engineering in Computer Engineering. I was there from 2013 to 17. And it's interesting because come my fourth year, like most of the kids who must be preparing for CAT, most of the freshers rather, I was not too sure कि आगे करना क्या है, right? And in India, I feel like the freshers, again, it's stereotypical, so forgive me, but people who are not too sure about their decisions and जो अपने मम्मी पापा से पूछते हैं मैं आगे क्या करूँ, they're like MBA कर लो तो that's how my CAT journey actually started. And then I went into IIM Ahmedabad as a fresher in 2017 itself. I graduated in 2019. I was the topper of my batch, so that was always a moment of pride for me. And post that, I worked with BCG. I worked with BCG as a management consultant for 2 years, and I worked with Microsoft for an year now. So, like Chandan said, I have been working for Microsoft for an year, not years. And I don't know about the prolific business expertise part, but let's see.
Nice. That's great that's great to know about you. So Shubham, I would like to thank you for this great introduction. So it was really encouraging for all of us to know about you. We're even more excited to know about your visions and goals in life. Like more excited post knowing your introduction. So can you please tell us about your visions and goals or kind of some experiences that you believe that have shaped you in life?
Okay, so visions and goals ka I would say are like I said, right, and it may seem a bit disappointing, but very honestly, like many of us, right, I did not think too far ahead into the future. Mera ye tha, because at all points of my life I was too pressed with what I was currently doing. My father used to say pehle jo kar raha hai wo achhe se kar le, fir aage ka baad mein sochna. So but now given that I am sort of settled down, sort of matured up enough, I do feel that at least I'm still exploring. I would not say mera vision hai ki yaar main CEO ban jaun. I would love to, and it would take a lot of effort and definitely God's grace to do that. But I think one aspiration I have, and it also ties back into the experience part of it that you say, and was because I being very candid, right? I lost my father to COVID, I think 6 months back, and
Sorry.
He was someone like I appreciate the condolences, right? And he was someone who was very, very close to me. I have been quoting him like a fair few times in this interview for now because he was like a great friend to me, of great mentor, and I think that shaped me a lot. I feel the biggest lesson that it taught me, it's important to like visualize stuff, have goals and all. But we have a lot of things that we currently also have, right? जो हमारे पास हैं, which we don't value, which we don't take for granted. Which we take for granted, don't we? So like when my father was around, I always used to take him for granted that he's there. He'll be there for me throughout my life, right? But once you lose someone who's so precious, because we're always in a flux, like as an IIM Shillong student, you must have 10 things on your mind, like placement or CADs and stuff like that, right? But always remember that you have a lot of good things on your side. And these things are good to have, right? But eventually, like there are other more important aspects of life. And even if you're not able to like do well at that particular, say in a particular IIM, or not able to get to a dream college or a dream job, life does not end. I have seen many people in my firm who are working in my team who have risen from, who are not from IIMs, who are not from IITs, but they have worked so hard to get there. So it's just about being positive, being grateful for what you have, and enjoying the moment, I guess. I think that's the biggest learning.
I can be a better person to relate you very well here, because I also lost my father way back in 2013. So I was in class 9th that time. So I think that incident also taught me many things, that like I am here today like interviewing you, a great man, a great leader at Microsoft. So yeah, so now we'll come forward with like there is a story for every person. Like there is a story for me. In my case, I joined IIM Shillong. So there is a story behind that. So I want to know, my audience wants to know, like they'll be very much interested to know about the story of yours. What made you choose product management as in career?
Okay, okay. So again, I'll be candid. There were a few reasons. I'm a computer engineer because of my undergrad degree. So, and I cannot vouch again how much technical knowledge I had at that point of time, but I always felt more comfortable doing technical stuff or technical cases. So like I said, post IIM, I joined BCG as a management consultant. And again, the reason for that was management consulting was always like, seemed like the go-to field because of my intern experience, because of what people said on campus. That was also something that was influencing me a lot. But while in BCG, again, I did like 5 odd cases in my stint of 2 years. 2 to 3 of them were tech related. And I really enjoyed those cases. Not to say the other ones were not good, but I really enjoyed them. And then I felt like, yaar, kuch tech related karna chahiye. If I have tech expertise, if I enjoy that domain, let's do something. And I've always been like very keen on work-life balance. I like devoting time with my family, with doing other stuff, pursuing my hobbies at times, which also includes like talking to juniors or doing something as trivial as playing video games and stuff like that. So I felt like Microsoft would be a good fit. I would have switched to, like I tried for other firms also. It was not just Microsoft, but Microsoft seemed like a good fit. Hence I went ahead with that. So I think that's my story. In case there are any other questions, happy to dive deeper, but yeah.
So like, yeah, that was great. So it was a spontaneous move for you in this product management domain. Wow. Well, that's great. Okay. So if we all know, like our audience also knows, there must be an eligibility criteria for an interested student. Like supposedly there is an interested student of any MBA school. So is there any kind of eligibility criteria for the student to join product management? Like also if you can throw some light on whether the fresher people, like the fresher students or the people having an experience in different industries or roles, can be recruited for the domain or not. So
yep, I would love to, and I think that's a great question. I don't know what my answers, but this was a really good question. So so I would say that surprisingly, like I also had this sort of, मुझे भी ये लगता था कि there would be a criteria, and there is also. It's not like there isn't, but it's not a hard criteria. Like if you don't pass that bar, then you cannot become a product manager or a program manager. In Microsoft, we call them program managers. So typically, product management firms prefer people with work experience, and there is a reason to that, because work experience, because here it's a lot about sort of working with different stakeholders from engineering, design. So it helps like build that sort of maturity and empathy in you if you already have some work experience. But there is no hard criteria. There were people from my institute, my batch itself, who were freshers and went into product management. So it's mainly about like how your interview goes, how you're able to network with, like just taking your example, say like IIM Shillong would have lots of people in Microsoft. I think I know of a few also. And if you like say reach out to them, people are always very kind. I feel the biggest brand value or biggest asset जो आपको एक MBA institute लाता है, and it's not just an IIM, any institute, is the alumni network that you have. So reach out to them, talk to them, try understanding about the firm from them, and they definitely help out a lot. So when I was also trying to get into Microsoft, I reached out to one of my seniors who was working in Microsoft, and he's been very kind to me. He was very kind to me then also, and he's been very kind to me now also. I still learn a lot from him. So yeah, I think that's about it. And if you're able to like prove during that interview that you can be a good fit, you can like work in that environment, people are typically happy to take you, right? Nahi to there's another way, which is sort of the more sure shot one. Like you have these internships, at least in MBA institutes for lateral hires जो बाहर से आना चाहते हैं, say in Microsoft, they don't have that route. But for if you're an MBA student or an aspiring MBA student, then what you can do is during your intern season try getting into one of these product management firms, and companies are a lot more flexible to take interns versus say full hires during the final placement, even if they feel like there is an if or but, because internship is like ऐसा है कि वो तुम्हें समझ रही है firm whether you are a good fit, and you are trying to assess whether मतलब the firm is a good fit for you. So even if there are a few slip-ups here and there, they're fine with it. And if they really like you doing the internship, which they typically do, they offer you a PPO, which you must know about. So that's one of the routes, yeah.
All right, I think this must be answerable to most of the viewers of our this particular video. So yes, coming to this, while you were speaking, so another question like just spike into my mind. So it was like you were telling the audience and us that there is particular SIP, that is summer internship program, that is being conducted for 2 months for all the MBA students in this entire country, India. So the thing was, if supposedly there is a situation or specifically there must be conditions, like condition one is there that student is not sure or not have encountered his or her area of interest. So what the student might do, or there might be a situation where student goes into product management line, but he's not sure whether the product management interests him or not. So what would you suggest for a student who is not sure about the career domain in his particular ladder?
Okay. So I think, Chandan, most of us would be unsure, and I would feel that if someone is sure, he's really mature, and I would love to meet that guy or girl. Yeah. Because I wasn't sure. I was never sure. By most of the decisions, like computer science में वो होता है, greedy algorithm होता है, right? So एक मतलब वो होता है, आप उसमें क्या करते हो, at each step you try maximizing the sort of utility that you can get. And I think my life has been like that. Pehle, like when I was going from 12th, I chose engineering because that was the thing to do. Like again, I was also aspiring for IT, but I got to DC, which is also good. Then I went to IIM MBA. उस समय सबसे अच्छी चीज लग रही थी तो वो किया. उसके बाद मैनेजमेंट कंसल्टिंग सबसे अच्छा लग रहा था तो वो किया. फिर अभी इसमें आ गए माइक्रोसॉफ्ट में क्योंकि वो अच्छा लगा. So there's never been a plan per se. So if you're asking me for surety and plans, you're asking the wrong person. All right. But I can tell you, like based on my experience, how you can know whether you are a good fit. Yeah. And if you don't, then also I can tell you. So yes. If you want to establish whether you are a good fit or not, and you have identified your area of interest, the best thing to do is talk to people. जो उसमें अभी भी काम कर रहे हैं, talk to your seniors, talk to your relatives who have worked in that, talk to them and try understanding that like what it is right? What is the job about? What do they do? What is their what are their KPIs? What are their like sort of work-life balance, like, or whatever other things that may like entice you or may matter for you. For some people it is, say, the compensation. For some people it is work-life balance. For some people it is travel opportunities, international exposure. तो वो सब पूछ लो. It's best to always talk. ठीक है. And again, this is all sort of secondary research जो आप कर रहे हो, like आप लोगों से पूछ रहे हो. It's not something you have experienced, so it is still possible that if you go and you encounter something truly different. Okay, so this is one way. The other way is before joining MBA, many people do that. I don't typically recommend it, but if like you're really hell-bent on finding whether you're a good fit or not, you have time after CAT results come out, or if you're going to some other institute, and you have some time, try interning, do a small sort of stint in a particular firm, product management, to just gain exposure. वो क्या करती है, कैसा लगता है मुझे, whether I like it or not. ठीक है. These are ways in which you can do it. The best experience and exposure that you'll get is once you get into the job. तभी होता है, उससे पहले नहीं होता है. At least what I have realized. There may be people, this is subjective, so someone may tell me otherwise, and their opinions also right, but that's what I feel. And if you're unsure, which most of us would be, I would say it's fine, yaar. Again, most of us like are relatively young, in our 25s, nearing 30. We still have a lot of years still in us, and sort of still we have a lot of life to experience. So agar ek aad galti kar bhi li to kya ho gaya? It's fine. We'll learn, we'll go ahead, we'll grow. But the thing is, like from management experience or consulting also, it's a great field. VCG is a great company. I would not debate that, supposedly, but I personally was not a good cultural fit. And it is supposedly because of my preferences, my priorities. When I went in, I had a very different opinion on how things would be. I went in, I was not a good fit. I did not supposedly have that great of a time. It was not the firm's fault. It was not the industry's fault. People are in that same industry who are doing great, who are thriving. I could not. I eventually find out that hey, this is not something that I want to do. I'll do something else. वो eventually पता चल जाता है, and then you figure out and you learn from that experience also, and you cherish it beyond a point. The fear, you look back on those days and you feel like, yeah, that was something I learned something from. It's fine.
Yeah, so you're phrasing it correctly. Right now, like before this session, even I was not sure about my career, like what to do, what to pursue as in career in the management domain. So I think I would be more open to more opportunities and more learnings. Definitely would be doing internships and lot of other things, other stuffs. So yeah, I think that would be very much beneficial for most of our audience. So now, Mr. Shubham, I just need to ask you what exactly, like, must be some students who must be watching this video who would have done their SIP, but would be done their SIP in particular domain, let's suppose marketing, and now they have their interest in product management. So now what do you suggest to those students, because they have done their SIPs in marketing domain, but now for the final placements, they need to sit for the product management domain. So what exactly they need to do, and what exactly, like, does this hamper their final placements? So please.
No, it does not, Chandan. I don't think it does. And in case there are some marketing people who are watching this, marketing is also great. So it's not about product management. So it's just like, first of all, I would say ki, if after doing marketing, for whatever reason you're going into project management, I would say just first introspect कि तुम करना क्यों चाहते हो product management जब तुमने marketing करी. Was it something about marketing that you did not like, या something about product management that you love? You should be clear, because फिर वही होगा, तुम product management जाओगे, फिर वो पसंद नहीं आएगा, फिर तुम उसे बदलोगे. तो that's the thing. So that question should be like really rock solid in your head. There are definitely other case preps that you should do, like product management cases hote hain, like and stuff like that people should do. That is very fairly routine. If you're an MBA student, you would know that there are different assets for that. But I think the only thing that an interviewer would supposedly want to know, or in general everybody, not an interviewer, कि तुमने जब वो करा, marketing करा. So what was it about marketing that you did not like कि तुम अब product management में आना चाहते हो? Because कल को तुम, like I said, product management से भूख जाओगे तो बोलोगे यार अब मुझे consulting में जाना है. So that answer should be rock solid, and it should not be like because I've come to realize, and I also used to feel right कि मैं कुछ बोलूँगा, I'll sell some story and the interviewer will buy it because yeah, I know better. But that person has been interviewing people for like 5 years and he won't actually show it on his face, but his or her face, but they will understand कि यार ये झूठ बोल रहा है. तो, like I remember my PwC interview, there was some questions, I won't dive deeper into it, but it was some HR questions, and HR questions ऐसे होते हैं that none of us prepare for it. It's like impromptu, कुछ जवाब होता है जो दोस्त ने बताया होता है, वही हम सोचते हैं अभी चिपका के आ जाएंगे. तो I tried that, and the HR professional looked at me like in a really skeptical manner कि ये क्या बोल रहा है, but I sort of cruised through it. Different thing, but I would say that's the biggest thing, like try understanding why you want to do it. If you really have a genuine passion for it, other things do fall in place. If you have done basic case prep karni chahiye, that's important. If you've done basic case prep, if you have that answer ready, I think it should not hamper your chances. People always like really appreciate, from an interviewer's point of view, people who have reflected on their mistakes, people who have matured from their mistakes. Because जब मैंने बात करी say in my Microsoft interviews with my interviewers, and I said that BCG I supposedly did not like because of this reason. It is a great firm. There are great people in that firm. They also appreciated it because being like they are way more successful, way more the senior than me. Chandan has been talking really great about me. I'm none of that compared to them. So they also understood because they have done those mistakes in their life, and they feel like अगर कोई बंदा अपनी गलतियों से सीखता है, that is because success, everyone like appreciates it, but if you are able to reflect on your losses, if you are able to take them positively and move ahead in life, then that's definitely a sign of a very strong character.
Wow, that's great. So just to sum up that, so you are trying to say that the summer like SIPs does not affect the final placement for students, but
Yes.
Indeed the students needs to have a better clarity in their mind what domain they are interested in, and if they have not find out their particular domain, so they need to rush up on what exactly in the market is right now and have to pick up one, right?
नहीं, but मैं बोलूँगा देखो, don't go by the market here because the market is volatile. Like stock market में भी कहते हैं, the market is volatile. And I have been like one of those who has gone behind the market airs and stuff like that. I've been seeking, like most of us as freshers, like again it's stereotypical, so forgive me, but as someone who was immature, I did seek external validation. Like अच्छा लगता है यार अगर तुम्हारे दोस्त बोले यार your internship is great or your final placement is great, but just because people feel that a firm is great या वो in market है कोई चीज, don't do it. Because कल को when you suffer in that firm or in that job, it's you who suffers, not your friends, not your family. So do the thing that you like, I would say, or things fall in place. Yeah, if you genuinely love something, like there is, just apart from profession, let's just leave it apart, right? Okay? There are things in our personal life like hobbies, kuch hoga that you really enjoy. You don't even need your mom or dad to tell you ki ye tum karo Chandan, you'll do it on your own. Like I love video gaming. I've loved it since I was a kid. I can play video games till 6 in the morning also, which I at times do and get scolded by my mother, which is a different thing. But there are stuff that we really love. So try thinking that what is that you really love. And it's difficult to find, it's not an easy answer, but just try exploring. And if you really find that, baki cheezein typically tend to fall in place. Like I have genuinely liked product marketing as of now. And I feel that's why I'm doing well. That's what I would say. That's the only thing that I would say. Just try finding something you genuinely, don't go after the market. I've done that. I have faced some of the consequences. So I would just request people, don't go after the market. It's very volatile. आज जो in market है, कल वो in market नहीं रहता फिर. That's the difference.
Right. Even I do follow stock market, so I can really relate in a better way. So yeah, okay. As we all know, like it's a matter of another 35 to 40 years of your career. So we need to be very much sure about the domain. That's
Huh,
again, again.
yeah, that's also correct. Malab, otherwise, you can keep exploring. Eventually, you'll find your path, right? Eventually, stumbling upon, you'll find your path. और नहीं तो अगर नहीं भी मिली और तुमने 5 paths बदल ली, then you can always say that I am a person who has worked across these different roles in these different sectors, which is also a great thing to have from an experience point of view. So yeah.
Absolutely right. Okay, so Mr. Shom, we would like to go ahead to another thing that our audience must be eager to know. So there is there is again very much like बहुत ज़्यादा शोर रहता है स्टूडेंट्स के बीच में कि ऐसी कौन सी सर्टिफिकेशन है जो हम कर ले और हम अपने करियर में काफी आगे बढ़ जाए प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट के, या फिर ऐसी कौन सा लैंग्वेज है या फिर कौन से कोर्सेज है जो हमें एक्सप्लोर करने चाहिए, या फिर हमारी एमबीए जर्नी में हमें वो चीज करनी चाहिए ताकि सीवी में आके एक अलग इम्पैक्ट पड़े हमारे सीवी पे, शॉर्टलिस्ट ज्यादा है और ऐसे ही हम प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट में रिक्रूट हो सके. तो इज देयर एनी काइंड ऑफ सम सेट ऑफ sources of course or certifications or languages that students need to do? What
First of all, I would say that I really enjoyed the way you asked this question, because I felt that you were very informal, very comfortable. Before this you were saying Mr. Shubham. मुझे Mr. Shubham कोई नहीं बुलाता. You can just call me Shubham. So that's fine. So I would say यार देखो, very honestly ना, again it boils down to the fact that the person who is interviewing you, he has done that same thing. वो 5 साल से इंटरव्यू कर रहा है लोगों को, तो उसे पता है what is substantial and what is not. ठीक है. अब तुम यहाँ किसी फर्म में जा रहे हो, यू वुड हैव, हम सब हाथ पैर मारते हैं, हमें सर्टिफिकेशन चाहिए, बट वी नो क्या जुगाड़ है और क्या सही है. तो अगर इफ यू आर थिंकिंग कि यार मैं कुछ जुगाड़ लगा के कर लूंगा, या इफ आई डू समथिंग लाइक दैट विल bolster my CV overnight, there is nothing. If something is that low effort कि it can be done in a night and you assume that it will bolster your CV tenfold, it's not going to happen. Because अगर किसी चीज को लेने का effort इतना कम है, उसका ROI हो ही नहीं सकता, because other people can do that. If everyone is doing that, you don't have any relative advantage. अगर एक certification IIM Shillong के हर बच्चे के पास है in this batch, you don't get any relative advantage from it. So the things that genuinely give you a relative advantage are things that you pursue over a long period of time. जैसे if you say you really love a sport, you are part of a sports club in your college, you're doing really well in that will give you a distinct advantage. So what firms actually see, देखो, in a very small nutshell, is not the number of certifications, but it's important. I'm not saying वो करो मत करो, but if you're talking about a substantial not competitive advantage नहीं बोलूँगा, but substantial good sort of CV proof that we call it, is something जो ये दिखाए कि you stuck with something even during its lows and highs. मतलब like the only great CV point that I'm proud of, and people feel that I brag about it at times, is why I say about me being Institute Rank 1, because that shows, because those 2 years are not going to be easy from an academic point of view or other things, not just academics. But if you are able to stick to that regime, this in a disciplined manner, if you're not going to quit, because yaar har raat chandni raat nahi hoti. There will be some times which you'll be really depressed, you'll feel like quitting something, but if you stick in those moments, those character testing moments, then is when magic actually happens and you accomplish something noteworthy. So say there were people in my batch who were, say, in the table tennis club. ठीक है, हमारे यहाँ संघर्ष होता था. There were other संघर्ष, एक competition का नाम था, वो संघर्ष नहीं. So and there were other competitions also. They went there. They practiced along with acads in it, and I really admire them. They practiced along with acads in those competitions. Then they went into that. Injuries being हुई होंगी, फिर travel करना हुआ था. You cannot skip courses. They went there. They won a gold medal. That is a CV point that genuinely matters. Something like that, because you dedicated yourself to it. It is जैसे, say, if you are into, say, philanthropy, या there were like IIM Smile करके था एक हमारा club in which I used to teach underprivileged children, because there's always that, and I always enjoyed that. So that was a CV proof that I was proud of. I had filler CV proofs too. ऐसा नहीं था मैंने certifications नहीं लिखे, but I would say ऐसा कोई नहीं है जो एक रातों रात वाला CV बहुत चमका देगा. So there's no but anything that you do well, anything. It does not need to be related to coding. It does not need to be a language per se. कुछ भी तुम अच्छा करते हो and you have been doing it consistently over time and you can show कि I have stuck to that thing. I have been doing it since a long time. I've never given up. And if you just emphasize on that, because it shows a very strong character trait. क्योंकि job में क्या होता है, हर दिन अच्छा नहीं होता. कभी तुम you'll get scolded by your manager. At times you'll have a bad day, a bad meeting. But if you stick, if you persevere in your job, then you only grow. And that character trait, वो आप overnight नहीं build कर सकते. That is a character trait that you need to succeed not only in product management but any job. And I would prefer a candidate who has that versus like 10 certifications.
So now we are getting some sort of live session by Shubham. That's really great. Okay, so just to wonder, like I wonder sometimes what technical tools one should have a good hand in, like the Microsoft Excel. Like what do you exactly use in the product management? You as a product manager, what do you use?
So again, the thing is, at least from a firm, that way Microsoft is great. They don't force you to use particular productivity tools because they are productivity tools. So whatever you feel comfortable with, you can use. Even in BCG, it was like that. So no firm forces you, but it's always good to know a certain tool from a certain set. Like if you are going to be an MBA student or a corporate, it's always good to know a particular PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint sort of slide based tool. Like you can do Google Slides mein kar sakte ho, you can know PowerPoint or any others. Typically PowerPoint is the go-to solution because that's what's adopted, but some people use Google Slides also, which is good enough. So knowing that one of those is Word, I think everyone knows that. So these are the WXP, which we call Word, Excel, PowerPoint. So from these things, these are hygiene tools that people should know, which most of you would if you're already in MBA, or if you're trying to get into an MBA, then I think Excel would be something that you would not have stumbled upon. You would have known Word and PowerPoint, but doing Excel is definitely very important. At least that's, once you come into a firm, it definitely helps. Knowing Excel definitely helps, I would say. Know that. One other thing that I feel definitely helps, it may seem very naive और बहुत भोला लगेगा कि मैं बोल रहा हूँ, is getting accustomed to Outlook. I think so. That's some difficulty that I face because we all use Gmail for our day-to-day life. We are used to that particular interface. When I had joined BCG, I found it a bit difficult because my manager used to say कि यार meeting schedule कर दो या stuff like that. Okay. And it takes time to get used to those things. Very small things, and you don't want to show in front of a manager कि यार मुझे meeting schedule करना नहीं आता. That's the last thing that you want to do. So just get used to all those sort of items. And then there are some things that are specific to teams and like individual teams. Like some teams will use some sort of productivity tool, others will use different. So those sort of advanced tools will come to you once you join your team. So there's a Rapid Miner is an analytics tool that some teams may be using. BCG में कुछ लोग use करते थे. No team was forced to do it, but some people do. Alteryx is something that I used to use because I used to like it. Tableau है data visualization, but these are not required. I say till you know Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and you know Outlook good enough, I think you're set. The rest you learn on the job itself. So yeah, I would say these 3-4 tools are.
That must be really helpful because बहुत सारे students ऐसे हैं जो काफी टाइम से ऐसे होते हैं कि इस student से ये सुन लिया कि यार ये कर लो तो जॉब लग जाएगी प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट में, या फिर कुछ ऐसा कर लो तो हो जाएगा. Because I'm currently pursuing my MBA from IIM Shillong, so I know, like you must be knowing that there is some conspiracy kind of things जो students के बीच में चलती रहती है. Competition लगा रहता है कि यार ये job चाहिए, high package चाहिए. So ये काफी अच्छा.
So I would say that's the reason. Yeah, typically what happens is the truth is stranger than the myth. जो हवाएं उड़ाई जाती हैं, लोगों को लगता है कि यार जो सच्चाई होगी वो तो कितनी भयानक होगी, but typically it's always very simple and straightforward, right? और इसलिए मैं बोलता हूँ, talk to people, your seniors who are already in that firm or someone else like who's in that firm. Talk to them, try understanding it from them because they can tell you the best thing. Because these gossip mongers, which I tell to call them, जो हवाएं उड़ाते हैं, they also don't know from the firm's perspective. They are giving you sort of अपने हिसाब से कुछ knowledge दे रहे हैं, which is also not wrong. They might not be doing it to mislead people. They might not know themselves और इसलिए बोल रहे हैं. ठीक है. अब like lots of people in Microsoft also, computer science majors नहीं है, many of them are not comfortable with coding also, but that's not required. Program management में ऐसा है, till the time you have a sharp enough sort of common sense to say decipher, जैसे product है, say Zoom, if you are sharp enough to decipher like what a user will need when he is doing a meeting, and you are able to keep the UI, the user experience simple enough for him or her, even a new user, that's what a product manager sort of does. So you don't need to know coding, you don't need to be like कि मुझे Python आती है तो I'll get additional brownie points. In a program manager interview you won't, in a software development engineer you will, so that's a difference. And I knew a fair few languages, but I was not like I was not given like brownie points for that. So yeah, that's it.
बाकी आपके मिथ से याद आया, एक और क्वेश्चन है ऐसा कि हम काफी स्टूडेंट्स के बीच में एक मिथ रहता है एक चीज का कि प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट ऐसा होता है. देयर आर मेनी मिथ्स जो लोगों के दिमाग में रहते हैं कि प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट एक ऐसी चीज है जो कंपनी हायर करती है आपको एक प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन करने के लिए, बट काफी कुछ उनको नहीं पता होता इसके बारे में. लाइक दिस इज आई थिंक वन ऑफ द मोस्ट अनएक्सप्लोर्ड डोमेन if because industries spends a lot of amount in product management. So what exactly are the roles or responsibilities that comes with product management that you might want to say?
Okay, so that's also a great question. I would say जब I had like JD तो circulate होता है product manager का तुम्हें, and the JD is like the most abstract thing that I typically read, like someone with business expertise for these many years, someone with good communication skills, good writing skills. मतलब it's very vague, पता नहीं चलता क्या करना है. But again, so I would say यार very honestly, program manager is a job जिसका कुछ JD होता नहीं. So here what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to manage multiple stakeholders like their so let's think of it like a chemical equation, ठीक है? So chemical equation, again, pardon me if I'm wrong, it's been some time since I last touched chemistry.
Okay. Although I must not be able to because I belongs to a commerce background, but definitely I will I will help you.
ठीक है. So ऐसा होता है, if you have two molecules of water, और ये मैं गलती नहीं करूँगा, if you have two molecules of water and you use electrolysis, ठीक है, water होगा, there's a one reagent water, you do electrolysis, you get two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen. That's the chemical reaction. Hopefully I'm correct. So अब इसमें क्या, if you're looking at from a program manager point of view, ठीक है? So engineers and designers, there are three triads in program management. One is the program manager himself or herself. Then there are engineers who code, and then there are designers who design the UX. जो product का design बनाते हैं, जो आप जैसे Zoom में देख रहे हो ना कि control इधर आएगा या join button है, those are made by designers. ठीक है? So engineers and designers are the reagents of the chemical reaction. Reagents मतलब जो आप चीज डाल रहे हो रिएक्शन करने के लिए. यहाँ दो molecules of water थे जो break down करे into two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen. So they are the reagents. उनके बिना रिएक्शन नहीं हो सकता. अगर मैं engineers को निकाल दूं, आपका प्रोडक्ट नहीं बनेगा. अगर मैं डिजाइनर को निकाल दूं, आपका प्रोडक्ट बन भी गया तो बहुत सबऑप्टिमल बनेगा क्योंकि वो दिखेगा नहीं. The visual language won't be nice. ठीक है. Now program manager क्या करता है? Program manager is the catalyst. कैटलिस्ट का क्या मतलब होता है? इन अ केमिकल रिएक्शन देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड काइनेटिक्स. अब वो क्या करता है? आपके रिएक्शन फ्रॉम योर इनपुट टू आउटपुट उसकी स्पीड बढ़ाता है, ठीक है, एंड गिव्स डायरेक्शन. लाइक अगर आप एक डिफरेंट कैटलिस्ट डाल दो तो द सेम इनपुट कैन गिव अ वेरी डिफरेंट आउटपुट, ठीक है. सो प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर्स बेसिकली डिफाइन द स्ट्रेटेजी फॉर योर प्रोडक्ट कि मेरे को ये लगता है दिस इज समथिंग वी शुड इन्वेस्ट इन, दिस इज व्हाट आवर यूजर्स वांट. जैसे Zoom कोई नया फीचर लॉन्च कर रहा है, चलो Zoom नहीं, let's say any XY product is launching a new feature, so typically a program manager would have strategized कि हम ये फीचर अभी लॉन्च करें तो हमें इतना मार्केट शेयर मिलेगा या इतना ROI मिलेगा, इतने मंथली एक्टिव यूजर्स मिलेंगे, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट स्ट्रेटेजी ये दोनों ऑपरेट करेंगे the other two arms of the triad, that is designers and engineers. So the idea here is अगर मैं प्रोग्राम मैनेजर को निकाल भी दूं, like if you remove the catalyst from an reaction, it's not like the reaction stops, reaction बंद नहीं होगा, but the same reaction will take more time to get to the output and it may yield a very different output altogether also. तो ऐसा हो सकता है कि अगर मुझे 50% ग्रोथ चाहिए थी अपने रेवेन्यू में, I don't have a program manager who is sort and quote unquote devising the strategy. तो ऐसा हो सकता है वही 50% में रेवेन्यू 2 साल में प्राप्त करूं, which I could have obtained in a lesser time if I had a program manager who was sound. ठीक है, this seems to over bloat the importance of a program manager at times, but ऐसा नहीं है. It's not always कि ROI इतना strongly हम impact करते हैं. It's what our job is supposed to be, like define the strategy, define the kinetics, define the direction. Yeah.
So it basically enhances the productivity for an organization.
It gives direction, enhances the productivity. देखो engineers और designers are very busy people. They are doing coding करना आसान काम नहीं है. Figma या किसी और product tool में InVision में भी design करना आसान काम नहीं है. We are relatively like tasked with looking at मतलब user research करना. User research में like there are user researchers also. या समझना what the users want, doing a sort of benchmarking, industry benchmarking research करना, and then proposing a vision for a product. So it's our job to do that, sort of make the strategy for the product, and with that comes the accountability also. Like there's Spider-Man में कहते हैं ना, that Uncle Ben said that with power, great power comes great responsibility. I would not say we have great power, don't go with that, but we have great responsibility. उसमें ये हो जाता है like if you are owning the strategy of a product and if it fails inadvertently, like you cannot hold the designers or engineers or anybody, like they take blame. They are very cooperative people also, but hota hai that program manager will also take the brunt of it, because you are supposed to define the strategy. If that much ROI is not coming out from the strategy that you devise, there are definitely question marks that are going to come up on your skills.
Okay, so this was basically onto the particular work part. So we also want to know like what is exactly like the work-life balance, as we all know that there must be a kind of a work-life balance in an organization to work with for better productivity of mind and better productivity at work. So Shubham, आप क्या बताते हो like what exactly work-life balance is in product management domain?
Work-life balance again, yeah, देखो, it's actually quite good, I would say, relatively. देखो, so here there are again certain caveats. There's always going to be stars and those things. But इसमें ये है कि as a job or as a firm, it depends on multiple things. First of all, it depends on your firm, it depends on your product, and most importantly on your team and your manager. So my team is like teams in Microsoft generally are great. My team is also great. We value a person's personal life. ऐसा होता है like you'll have really clean weekends. You are not like asked to work longer beyond a certain time. You can choose to, and that's what the true success of a manager is. If a person wants to work more than he or she is asked to, and then the manager says no, इतना काम मत करो. So that's the true success of a manager, versus the other way around, that a person does not want to work and the manager is asking them to. So I think program management in general has a lot more work-life balance than other streams, like say investment banking or management consulting, but typically the work hours are higher because again you need to turn around projects very fast. You need to work for clients, so your accountability is very high. Well, it's like here you're working for your own firm. Even if you're taking time, you have your own leadership who is a lot more conducive at that point of time. But as a consultant, you're also charging the client for each hour you are sort of being there. So you need to be productive that way. Right? So in general, it's lesser, but it depends from team to team. Like in BCG, I had certain teams which were like really, really strict about work-life balance. कि हमें like अच्छा work-life balance रखना है, and we used to adhere to that. So I would say कि it's a function having many inputs. Relatively, product management is a domain. मतलब the chances of ending up in a product and team where you have a better work-life balance is higher in product management. There are exceptions always, versus say other distinct streams. But I would say that's generally the case. And this is also something to learn, right? Like all of us will evidently become say managers or stuff like that. The important thing to learn here is like work-life balance is typically in the hands of the manager or the senior leadership. And if you're like really sold on it, I want my subordinates to have a really nice work-life balance, always stand for it. Always stand for them. I don't want you to work on weekends. I want you to have time off, take care of your health. These are trying times anyways. So just be empathetic with them in terms of managers, and हो जाता है.
Wow, that's great. I think मैंने BCG का नाम already लिख लिया. Final placements में सबसे पहले BCG का interview देना है. Work-life balance.
So BCG, Microsoft, all these firms, so these are firms that I was part of, so I can say from first hand experience, these are all great firms. There are other firms also which are great, like marketing mein, there's PNG, there HUL, and it's not like kisi firm ka naam nahi hai, rather it's not. All these firms are great. It's just about finding what sells best for you and being there. There was like one statement I would say I would love to share with the audience, which when I started my job in BCG, again I'm coming back to BCG, but the first जो हमारा हुआ था ना lecture from the leadership BCG का, तो and that guy was very relaxed. जैसे ऐसा होता है ना, like when you join as fresher you are very tense, आप ऐसे बैठे होते बिल्कुल proper posture में. वो आदमी आया because it's like it's his home, it's his kingdom, तो वो आराम से आया and he said कि यार देखो और सब लोग लाइक everyone wants to give class participation, right? कि लीडरशिप का मेंबर आया तो मैं एक आध तो अच्छा सवाल पूछूंगा ही, भले ही मेरा हो या ना हो. तो people will raise their hands, ask about questions कि should I work on this project, इस पे करना है, या ये तो in market thing है तो I want to work more on this. तो उसने बोला यार देखो very honestly ना, जब मैं तुम्हारी लेवल पे था मैं इतना सोचता ही नहीं था. मैं किस में इन्वेस्ट करता था, मैं लोगों में करता था. मैं काम में आई नेवर यूज्ड टू केयर अबाउट मुझे जो केस मिल रहा है वो ऑयल एंड गैस का है, फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज का है, टेक का है. मैं लोगों में इन्वेस्ट करता था. मैं अपने दोस्तों के साथ टाइम स्पेंड करता था और मैं देख लेता था यार ये मैनेजर है हु इज वेरी नाइस, जो मुझे पसंद करता है या करती है. ये मैनेजर है हु इज नॉट सो सपोजिटली कंड्यूसिव फॉर मी. ये टीम है जिसमें बहुत अच्छा. और मैं एक बार मैंने वो पता कर लिया कि ये मैनेजर है, ये टीम है, फिर मैंने उस मैनेजर को कभी छोड़ा ही नहीं. मैंने बोला यार आप जो भी करते हो मुझे बस अपने साथ ही रखो, आप मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता आप क्या कर रहे हो. सो द सेंटेंस दैट ही टोल्ड मी, नॉट मी इन जनरल, ऑल ऑफ us, was that work is always overrated. The thing that is underrated is people. We don't invest in people, we invest too much in work. We over indexed on it यार कि मुझे ये प्रोडक्ट करने में मेरी बहुत ग्रोथ हो जाएगी. Work with people, invest in people. People are way more important. जैसे let's say if you are on a stranded island, अपने सबसे अच्छे दोस्तों के साथ हो, अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ हो, बट एक सुनसान टापू पे हो, you will still enjoy it, you will still find ways to enjoy it, eventually you will get out of it. But say you are in a luxury 5-star hotel with a person that you don't like. So right, it's not the place, it's the people. It's always the people. So I understood that Microsoft mein the person who I'm reaching out, my manager, is an awesome person. I want to stay with that guy for a long time, so I'll stick to him. So that's the thing that I would want all of you to, अगर एक चीज लेके जानी है, I would say just invest in people. People are very, very nice, very, very important assets of any firm.
So here we are getting in some investing advices also. Start investing in people. That's your real income.
That's true, yeah. देखो, because if you say you अभी जैसे तुम्हारे IIM Shillong में दोस्त हैं चंदन.
Yes.
Down the line, and this is a big regret that I have. I had like really great friends back when I was in MBA also, but I have not been able to keep in touch with them for some or the other reason, right? Not invested in them enough. But do stay in touch. क्योंकि कल को क्या होता है, if you need any help, if you want to switch firms, and it should not always be materialistic कि मुझे help चाहिए तभी, but in general if you want to talk, they're always there for you. Friends are always there for you. So these are people we should not stop investing in. क्योंकि वही हो जाता है ना यार, we should not take people for granted. Again, coming back to the first lesson, we feel यार दोस्त है मेरा, मैं 6 साल बाद भी बात करूंगा तो बात तो कर ही लेगा. It is not like that. People move forward in life. उनकी preferences बदलती हैं, कभी priorities बदलती हैं. So we should keep touch basing. We should keep talking. We should maintain that relationship. Hi, hello ही कर दिया, whatever. And just मतलब invest in people more.
Okay, that's great to know more about it. Okay, so I'm considering the fact that you must be having a lot of work at Microsoft right now. You're taking a lot of time out. That's a great, appreciation for by us. So coming to the last but not the least question, I think that's one of the most hyped question for MBA students. So most of the MBA students wants to know what could be the personality pillars or the personality traits that might distinguish them from other students in order to succeed in the domain, and what could be the interviewers while interviewing for the final placements or for the SIP part, what they exactly look in the person, what exactly a student mindset should be. So can you please put some light into it?
Yeah, very honestly, I would say कि what exactly are the personality pillars that someone would look into it. I would say just be yourself. अब ये बहुत ही overstated ज्ञान line है जो सब लोग सबको देते हैं, but it seems correct. मतलब in your shoes, if some of the viewers are feeling, yeah, this guy is telling me something that I already know, but this is correct. देखो, like the thing is, even in this interview, right? I feel very comfortable because I'm just saying what is coming to my mind. Very honest. ठीक है, I'm just being myself. I would have been very candid, being very candid with you.
Fortunately,
And, so in an interview also be candid. मतलब don't go giving slangs and all. वो नहीं कह रहा हूँ मैं. But be candid. ठीक है. Have an informal conversation because think from an interviewer's point of view. ठीक है, वो बंदा या बंदी कई दिनों से इंटरव्यू ले रहा है, 5-6 घंटे लेगा, फिर घर जाएगा, उसकी फैमिली होगी, बच्चे तंग करेंगे, whatever. If we can have a very nice candid conversation with a person in that 5 hours, जिसमें he is very true, मतलब he knows his stuff, मतलब वो तो है ही, like no interview is that tough यार. मतलब अगर तुमने basic prep करी है, you can definitely have a good enough conversation with him, make some valid points and stuff like that, but try building a sort of informal connect in that sort of half an hour, 1 hour. मतलब just have a candid conversation. वो तुमसे सवाल पूछेगा, how is your day going? Try being honest there. Some people will like वो भी answer को unnecessarily bloat कर देंगे, like this is a very awesome day for me, this is a dream come true that I'm sitting in this particular interview, I've never dreamt of it. वो वाले answers अगर दोगे तो it looks superficial, right? Just be honest, like जैसा दिन जा रहा है बता दो उससे, have a candid conversation, ऐसे कि he feels like अच्छा मैं interview के बाद भी इससे बात करता हूँ, ये आदमी सही लग रहा है मुझे, आदमी like female person is also looking very nice. So ये वाली चीज होती है, आई वुड से, मतलब जस्ट बी योरसेल्फ, जस्ट बी वेरी कैंडिड, और वो पर्सनैलिटी फिर आ जाती है. इफ यू आर बीइंग योरसेल्फ ना, देन you don't seem superficial, you don't stammer, you don't get incoherent. If you're trying to pretend to be someone who you're not, you are bound to get uncomfortable in between, कहीं ना कहीं हो जाओगे. If you're thinking too much before speaking, वो हो जाता है. At least with me it happens a lot. So I would say, और वही होता है पर्सनैलिटी में, वही होता है ना, if you're having an interview and if you're say stammering a lot, or if you're not presenting yourself comfortably, तुम्हारी body language कैसी है, like the way that you're sitting, the way that you're using hand gestures, the way that you're, and if you're being natural, don't be forced at all, जैसे हो वैसे रहो यार, because given that you have come into a great MBA institute, you have that personality in you, you don't need to like prove to anybody, the interviewer knows that. So वो चीज है, I would just say do basic case prep. Basic case prep करनी जरूरी है. Being thorough on your materials is important. Those things differentiate, because the thing is like, मतलब you don't need to do anything additional to differentiate yourself from most people, because बाकी people, most of the people, it's not their fault. It's because we all are immature. We tend to be a bit more superficial in interviews. हम झूठ बोलते हैं कुछ चीजों में, हम मतलब वो हो जाता है सब, at least मतलब I have learned this from a personal experience, just be natural, and that should be a good differentiating factor. People, मतलब firms are not looking to hire superstars, they want to hire normal people who they can supposedly make superstars. वो बनते हैं कि नहीं, that's a different thing again. So just be candid, just be good. I think that should be enough. Or case prep करना is important, but don't slack on that. That's important.
Okay, I think that will be very much beneficial to like most of us, because being a student myself, I just pretend to be, very much, we exactly pretend, like I think pretend would be the nice word. We pretend to be good, but we actually are good, but we pretend to be good in front of the interviewers. That makes us more cautious.
Don't be. Yeah. Don't be. देखो होता क्या है ना, interviewer को समझ आ जाता है. मतलब if you are being like, I can like, देखो, if someone is taking my interview also, I've been in your shoes also when I am taking someone's interview, and when you are nervous, तो मैं कुछ additional नहीं करना, सामने वाले को समझ आ जाता है. जैसे the way you are asking a particular question versus you are asking another one, I can tell कि तुम कब nervous हो, कब तुम informal हो, कब तुम formal हो. It's मतलब, and it's very मतलब, when you come here on this side, and you will eventually, जब तुम you will remember this interview, I'll tell you, तब तुम याद करोगे कि मैं ऐसे पूछा था question and things like that. It's very obvious, and I am recalling back those days, because तब क्या लगता है, very conscious, self conscious कि यार मैं अपने आप को ऐसे present ना करूं कि कुछ खराब लगे. There's nothing wrong or right यार. देखो, we all have our faults, we all have our bad things, and that's the beauty about being human. अगर तुम बिल्कुल ही perfect हो गए तो you are not a human. So you have to embrace both your good sides and both your bad side, and when you combine both of them, then is when the true magic happens, right? Everyone has vices, everyone has faults. Just be very open to them कि हाँ मेरी है गलती, and if someone says just be natural. Like interview भी ऐसा कुछ नहीं है यार, मतलब you are more than capable of getting that particular job. जब तुम उस एटीट्यूड से जाओ कि I am more than capable of getting this job, मुझे ये जॉब मिलेगा, मुझ पे कोई एहसान नहीं हो रहा है, I am more than capable. I have come to this point based on my merit, my mettle. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. अगर ये जॉब नहीं मिला तो क्या हो गया यार, दुनिया नहीं खत्म हो रही, मुझे कोई और जॉब मिल जाएगा. There are tens of jobs. IIM Shillong will, or any IIM or any institute will ensure you get a job. That's their KPI. वो इंश्योर करेंगे दैट यू गेट अ जॉब, एंड नो जॉब इज बैड. कई बार होता है यार मेरी वो ड्रीम कंपनी थी, मुझे नहीं मिली, अब मैं स्पाइरल डाउन कर जाऊंगा. क्या हो गया यार, अभी तुम इस जॉब में चले जाओ, यहाँ अच्छा करना, फिर उठ जाओगे. यू मे बिकम समवन यू वर नॉट इवन थिंकिंग अबाउट. लाइक देयर आर मेनी एग्जांपल्स इन दिस वर्ल्ड इटसेल्फ, पीपल हु हैव स्ट्रगल्ड लाइक एनीथिंग. अब जैसे many CEOs or many CXOs or C-suite people who have sort of, who never started out easy, who never like started in management consulting or say product management or anywhere else, but see where they have reached just because of the experiences they accumulated, the mettle that they had. ठीक है, तो फर्स्ट जॉब इज डेफिनेटली ओवररेटेड, वो छोड़ दो. जस्ट हैव अ फन टाइम. ये सोचो जो मैं जाऊंगा, आई विल गो देयर, आई विल गिव माय बेस्ट. कल को ये रिग्रेट नहीं होनी चाहिए कि यार इस इंटरव्यू में हैड आई बीन मोर कैंडिड, हैड आई डन दिस तो मुझे मिल जाता. यू शुड बी आई गिव माय बेस्ट, आई ट्राइड माय बेस्ट. नहीं मिला तो इट वाज नॉट मेंट फॉर मी, दैट्स फाइन. आई विल गेट समथिंग एल्स. आई हैव डन वेल टिल नाउ, आई हैव द मेटल टू डू वेल, आई विल कंटिन्यू डूइंग वेल. दैट्स इट.
Lot of life lessons are being exploded in this session. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's my job. But just be yourself, I would say, and have fun. Yeah, interviews are a stressful period. I would not say they're enjoyable. When I was sitting for Microsoft interviews, stress hota hai because you're trying to get that job. It is a lot of things are on stake. It's easy for me to now preach ki yaar stress mat lo, ye mat karo. It is stressful, but always remember yaar, it's not the end of the line. अगर ये कंपनी नहीं मिले, कोई दूसरी मिल जाएगी. That's fine.
So see a bigger picture, right?
Yes, and don't take things for granted. Like the thing we already have lots of things. Always keep reminding yourself that these are 10 things in my life which are great, which others don't have, which I have. Be grateful for them. हमारा at least as human beings, again a stereotypical sort of perspective is कि जो चीज मिल गई उसकी वैल्यू खत्म हो जाती है, जो चीज नहीं मिली उसकी incredible value. Like in Game of Thrones, I think Littlefinger said this, right? There is no end to human desire. I don't remember the exact word, because once you get something you start desiring for other stuff, right? So there is no end to greed, there is no end to desire. So always understand, जो मेरे पास ये 10 चीजें हैं शायद किसी और के पास नहीं. I have great family,
right?
Not everyone has it. Not everyone has a loving family who take care. If I have them, that's great. I'm in a great institute. Not everyone is. I should be grateful for that. I have tens of other things which I should be grateful for that. Remind yourself and understand. Be content with them. ठीक है, और जो मिला नहीं मिला तो ठीक है यार, अभी भी अच्छी हैं तो ठीक है.
Well, I am pretty sure like this session must be beneficial for most of our viewers. Likewise, it is beneficial for me as well. So now, considering your like time, you're busy like in another schedules and other meetings, so we would like to thanks Shubham for taking out time out of his Microsoft responsibilities for this particular session, for like teaching us about life lessons, about product management as in career ladder. So I think this must be a big blast to all of us. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Shubham. So you would like to say?
It's been my pleasure. Yeah, it's been my pleasure interacting with you, Chandan, and it's always awesome to, like I said, I've always loved interacting with my juniors, because देखो ज्ञान देने में तो मुझे वैसे ही मजा आता है, but it's still very, very, not from that perspective also. The thing is, I don't want, and I see people making those mistakes which I made, and I don't want them to. People are kind enough to listen to my words. I would supposedly not have had I been in their shoes at times. So I'm always grateful when people take the feedback and listen to it. And I'm definitely very thankful to you, thankful to Grow Junction for having me. here as a guest speaker and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it. It was definitely a very wholesome conversation for me.
Yeah, wow. So thank you, Shubham. Thank you, audience, for like watching this session. I'm sure that it will be a great helpful to you as in career. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Thank you.